Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this great big universe. My name is Helena, and thank you so much again for joining us on another episode of Love Unlocked, where together we decode the mysteries of the universe and love. So today we have another popular return guest, Dr. Feelgood, one of the more esteemed writers on Quora and channel medium, to speak with us today. Hello, Dr. Feelgood. How are you doing today?
Hi, Helena. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for being here. I'm doing fine. I got my lipstick to not look like I had drawn a circle around my head. So,
You look fine.
you're a sweetheart. So, what do you want to talk about today? You are a mystic channel. You are able to channel and sense other people's feelings. And one of the things that I think our viewers want to know is, how does that feel for you? How does it feel to be able to do that, to be able to channel with people?
Um, quite honestly, it varies, right? Because there's gonna be good times, bad times. It's a grand mix of things, right? It is what it is. Um, it is a beautiful thing in the sense that you know somebody, and that when you connect with them, it's not just some hocus pocus. It's not just some, I'm not some psychic friends network. It's very, very real. Because when you do this and you connect with them, you tell them in advance almost what they're about to say or what's next going to happen in the story, or you describe in detail how they were feeling, what they went through, and all those things, right? And the only way that happens if someone is true and they are real, because you can do this with anybody in the world. And they'll look at, how do you know me? Well, I just told you everything about yourself, didn't I? They'll look at me, oh yeah, you did. Okay then. No big deal. But yeah,
Take me back to a time, one of the first times you've experienced channeling.
you mean for people in general?
Has
Um,
there been have you been able to channel with animals? I think we know you have.
well, you can, right? Animals are no different than people, so to speak, right? It's just all energy, right? And so when you working with animals, you can pick up how they feel. You just translate into human thought, right? So for an example, I saw one of my friends, and he had a female pit bull that he was taking care of because she was wounded, and so he took care of her. And there was one time she was laying down, and I looked at him and go, she's so happy that you take care of her. She loves you so much, and she thinks this about you and that about you, and she remembers when you would do this. And I would just start telling because this is what she was feeling. This is what she was thinking inside of her. That's what their energy was saying, right? And it's just like I've gone to other places where another friend had three guard dogs, and I'd never seen them before. And he told me to come in. He's like, "Be careful, be careful. They're going to be, they're really defensive." I walked on in, and they turned into puppies. They were so happy. Their tails were wagging. They were excited and playful and everything else. No sense of any type of guard dog because there was no threat, and they knew that. They knew right away.
Do you think that was
So
because they were picking up on your energy? They could tell that you were no threat, that you were obviously, giving off the energy between you and your friend, that you got along. They can sense your friend's energy and yours to know that you're not a threat. Is that how that works?
that very well could be possible, because the dogs came right away. I was just in the front door, and they came running over like puppies, and came walking over while they were coming around me. He's like he'd never seen them do this before, and it really is in a way that presence. That as this all flows through you, as part of you, exudes from you, it is just felt, it is picked up. And I noticed that the same thing with people as with animals, all sorts. Um, and it's just the way it works because it is very disarming because there is no threat. There's a peace to it. And so people naturally relax because it's genuine. It's real. And so they automatically start to change.
It
You know,
changes their
I've
demeanor.
oh, it's almost like a soul thing, you know. And I've had people come, like one time I'd be sitting in a bar and a fellow just came up, and you know, I live in a place where, you know, you got all kinds of groups out here, you know, and you know, I could tell that, you know, these guys were probably Norteñas. They come into the bar, and the fellow just sat down next to me. We started talking. He goes, you know, I knew it was just safe to sit down next to you. I know this was a good place to be. He goes, all right. And here's this old dude talking with this younger Hispanic fellow. You know, you wouldn't normally see it, but he knew right away. And it's just that way.
Is that a trait of an empath, picking up on other people's feelings? Is that correct?
And empath does, right? It's empathy, it's feeling, it's sensing, all the rest of that. But it's not just being empathic or intuitive. It's a collection of things. It's all different parts of you coming together. It's being part and working with the universe and really having that solid connection, that oneness that comes through. And it just radiates from you. And I see this happen all the time. There was one time I was in a bar and I came out of the bathroom, and this one tall black fellow came over, and he was just enraged. He was really, really upset. I'd never seen him before. But I looked at him, I go, and I started talking, I go, is it okay? I just came out of the bathroom and stuff. And within 30 seconds, he had pulled a complete 180. He was smiling and shaking my hand. He was like, I am so glad that I met you. And that was it. And it happens all the time. It's just a natural way of being that everybody, that when you come to that state, you just feel good. You just feel at peace. It's just how this is.
Do you, as a channel, do you ever pick up on the physical attributes of other people, or maybe the physical behaviors? Like if somebody's tired and you're with them, do you ever pick up on their tiredness and like suppress yawns? And you're thinking, I got
I
plenty of sleep, I'm okay. Why am I doing
I
this?
pick up yeah, I pick up on all those things. Um, whether someone's how are they feeling, how they're sensing, what their state of being, their state of mind is, their emotional state, what they're thinking. Um, and sometimes, you know, that's also it becomes so powerful that you're reading this information or you're just becoming part of it, that you almost become that person at the same moment.
That's
Whether it's someone that's passed or someone that's alive, it does not matter. It doesn't matter because you just know. You see, you feel everything that they're going through within those moments. And you can't deny it when you're sitting there with somebody and you're looking them in the eyes and they see their own pain reflected back in you. They see their own image in you. It sometimes it freaks some people out at first. And some people I've done this where I sat there and told them, they go, no, 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 you don't know me. I go, yeah, I do know you. I know everything about you. He goes, really? And one fellow followed me into my kitchen one time and he kept going, now you really don't know me. You don't. And so what I did was I opened up the fridge. I slowly said, okay, here we go. And I looked at him. I go, you are this. You were treated this way. At this age, this happened to you. From that point, you went ahead and did this. And this formed these different parts of you. And the wounded child inside of you right now is saying, wow, how did he even know all this was going on? And turn around and look at it, and the face goes like a statue, frozen, because it was the truth. And that's the other part of it. It's always in truth. It's never for control or manipulation or anything else. It's for truth, because that is what people need most of all right now. Simple, straightforward truth.
that is the truth. So when you channel with people, what does it feel like for you? You said that you pick up other people's emotions, their feelings, you feel what they feel. But There's a difference, or there has to be, when you're channeling with somebody who passed away versus somebody who's alive and sitting with you, maybe in the same room.
Mm,
So, what does it feel
y-
like when you're channeling somebody who's passed away? And how do you know that it's somebody who passed away and maybe not, your neighbor or somebody that, is sitting in the same
yeah,
room, maybe not talking to you, but
sure.
you still them?
For myself, um, when I start talking with somebody, and you've experienced this with me before, is that when someone begins to talk about something, it starts playing through my head. I start seeing the a video overlay inside of my head, like just like having a lens in front of my sight, so that I see both simultaneously. And in that moment, I also hear their thoughts, what they felt, what they experienced, what they went through, no matter what it was, good or bad. And there's been some really bad ones that I've had to deal with.
And that must be
But I
terrifying too, when when
it's
somebody and you
it,
basically reliving somebody's trauma, maybe somebody you haven't even met before, but who you know through somebody else. Does that make sense?
yes. Um, it's just like the information is there. It's always there. Um, but it is indeed that when someone describes something, I start going through it, and I do live through it. I live through all of it, and it can be pretty harsh at times, but it's all very true. Because they'll look at you, how do you know these? Because I just do. I just do. Whatever I need to know is there. I don't have to know everything. I just need to know what I need to know at that very moment. Are you kidding? Could you imagine if we had all this stuff in our head, we would have freaking explode. Our heads would pop. But if you're able to have access or able to become part of what is, because what was is still what is, just become part of what is, you can become a conduit, a relay, um, almost like a translator, if you will. Just takes that energy and puts it into human thought and communicates it through human words in a way that we can understand it.
It's a very good description, a translator.
Yeah. It's like, look, before we talked about bunny way, but I could see you as a girl with a bunny. I could see all these different things all at the same time. It was just playing through my head. And
For
at
the
the same
viewers,
time, I was
just real
I
quick
was
for the viewers, Bunny Way was my bunny, my family's bunny. And Dr. Feelgood here, was able to sync with Bunny Way, her energy, and channeled my bunny. But please go ahead. Go on. Sorry.
yeah. But it's the same thing no matter what. Whether it's past or present or anything else, it doesn't really matter. It's all the same. It just is. It's just there. So all you're doing is that the moment like you would say something and I would just start going through it is because I'm accessing all the records, so to speak. Right? I'm just going through, and it's just whatever the attention gets focused to, it starts to pull in. It just starts bringing it in and processing it and pushing it out to you. It's like there's no right or wrong answer. It just is.
You just said records. Is that similar to like the Akashic records, or would that be something different?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really get into all that stuff. I mean, I watch some things on just to learn about it. It's supposed to be these records about your life, where you've been, what you do, what you got to learn, what you're going afterwards, all the rest of that stuff. It's a whole lot of stuff. But you know what? Me knowing that doesn't really add one bit to me because, for each of us, it's about working on ourselves. And if I keep getting distracted by looking at everything external, I'll have ignored the internal, which is where everything that's supposed to be worked on. Right? So, well, you can do that if you want. It's a playground. Right? And I suppose maybe it is accessing those Akashic records that I don't know that I'm doing it that way. To me, it's just like having a conversation like I'm talking to you right now. you know? So it's just, to me, it's just is. It's just there. It's part of life. It's part of everything, right? Um, Everything's connected. There's that field that goes through everything, part of everything. You just become, you just merge with it. You, it becomes you and you become it, right?
You know how I envision it is that we're all like electric sockets, not sockets, electric plugs, and that the collective consciousness is like a giant conscious well, it's like a giant consciousness duh.
Yeah.
It's like the collective consciousness that is covered in sockets, and then we plug we're all plugged into the one consciousness. Is that an accurate
Okay.
description of the collective
I
consciousness?
suppose, but I'll tell you what, how about we take out the plug in the socket and you're just connected?
Just
You're just connected.
energetically connected.
Yes. It's if you can imagine, if you look at the world, right? Anything, everybody, and everything that you can see right now is turned into a golden field of energy.
Hmm.
Same shape, same size as everything that is represented there. That golden field of energy is one field, multiple facets to it, multiple faces, but it is still all one field. So within that field of energy, you can connect to anything you want. You can pull for anything you want. You can know whatever you need to know. You can see what's ahead. It's just like I could go driving down the road and without having to worry about the stoplights, I will know exactly how fast to either speed up or slow down so the car never stops. Even if it's a red light up there, I will slow down just enough so that all of a sudden the light turns green, the cars ahead of me move out, and the car never stops. I just slow down and then I keep going up again. You just know you become part of everything that is around you. You already are part of everything that's around you. You just don't know it yet. You don't see it yet because there are things within each person that are hindering that, that are impeding or blocking it from happening. If we, it's
Impeding,
like,
yeah, impeding
right,
or blocking. What kind of things would impede or block?
okay. Um, let's think about it this way. If you're driving a car, right, and the windshield is really crusty, dirty, whether it's been, dirty, whatever, and it has been washed off or it gets all fogged up, it's a real pain to see through the window.
Covered in
You
June
still kind of
bugs.
see it, right? And sometimes you're driving by braille going, dun, 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 as the wheels hitting the center divider buttons, those little bumps on the road there. But what happens when you suddenly clean the windshield? How much difference do you actually start to see? You can
Big
tell what's ahead,
difference.
right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with us. That within us are all those things that affect our natural ability to function the way that we were built, the way we were designed, and the way we were made. So anything that is a negative, I don't care if it's a thought, if it's the words, if it's actions, if it's deed, if it's within music or movies, it does not matter. Your mind does not care. It will take whatever you put in there and keep it in there. It could be things that we have to heal from, self-image things. If I don't think I'm worthy of something, and worthiness, that's a lie. Um, Anything that detracts from ourselves in a negative way, it does not matter. Any of those things impede us, or people would say keep us at a lower vibration, if you want to run that route with it, right? Because they are lower vibrations, lower energy, darker energies, and they do not help us. They only hinder and hurt us.
But
So it is
how would
always
we
so vitally
recognize?
important.
How do we
What's that?
recognize a dark energy though? I mean, everybody always talks about stay away from dark energies, but how do we
That's one thing.
know?
But think about this. Let's say you're going along and you're having a good day, but then someone does something that upsets you. Okay, well, why are you upset? What was it about that you got upset about? Start going within and start to see where that really comes from. Because maybe it's not what they did that really upset you, but what it did actually was trigger something deep down inside you that was unresolved, unfinished, or maybe something happened as a kid, right? Maybe you're teenagers, whatever it is, but it actually goes back to where that trigger is. And these things are there to point things out to us.
So, like
People,
our perception.
our perceptions, our thoughts, the way we look at things, way we look at ourselves, the way we look at others, those are all key elements. You know, and we just had in the United States, we just had Thanksgiving here, right? And everybody's always so grateful about what they had. Hey, what are you grateful? It's one thing. And everybody go around the table. And the one question I would have to ask is, I know you guys are grateful for all the good things, but are you also grateful for the negative or bad things as well?
That reminds me of that Thanksgiving story about the thorns, the bouquet of thorns.
Yeah. You
Mhm.
want to tell it?
I'll try.
Go
Long,
ahead.
long story short, sorry, I interrupted you. Long story short, a man walks in, sometimes it's a woman, walks into a floral shop looking for a holiday bouquet for Thanksgiving, and people keep coming in ahead of her, dealing with other people, asking other check cashiers, asking for the Thanksgiving bouquet of thorns. And the moral to the story is always be thankful for the thorns. That way, you truly appreciate the good things, the roses. Don't just be thankful for the roses. Be thankful for the thorns. The thorns remind us how truly we should be thankful for everything, every experience that we have, and how God is always watching over us and protecting us, even when the thorns happen.
Yep. That's very, very true. And those thorns, those moments, they're there to direct us to something within, right? They're there to teach us. There's a lesson there. There's always a purpose for everything, whether you realize it or not, there is. The negatives aren't there to hurt you, even though some of them can be very catastrophic.
Mm-hmm.
Some can be downright very, very hard. But truly, they're always there for us. They will point to something that we need to work on inside of ourselves. They will point to something that we need to learn or something that, a lesson. And the moment that we finally understand what is going on with this and we understand the lesson or what we're supposed to learn and we can accept these things and move on and say, thank you. I thank you for this. I understand now. It takes those things away, right? You don't have to have them repeated in your life. So as you get rid of the negatives and things like that, no matter what the form of it is, those things are removed with a permanence. You don't want them back in your life. You want to have something positive in this place instead. I mean, for myself, um, oh gosh, what was it? Last year, I think it was. Yeah, last year, around around March or so, I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to purpose with a purpose and joyous heart to get rid of the negatives out of my life. I did not care what it was, person, place, thing. It did not matter. And negatives take a long time. Who's kidding who? They take a long time because they can get into all kinds of different areas in your life. But to know and do purpose, with focus and a joyous heart, and because you know that when you're done with it, it's done. And you say with gratitude, you say, thank you for this. You tell your creator, thank you, because I finally understand what you were trying to tell me the whole time. And you seal it with gratitude so that it does not return. You seal it with a permanence so it does not come back. And so by doing that, you start to clear these things out. You start to function more and more as you're supposed to. Your life will start to change. The way you think, the way you see things, the people you associate, everything you do will start to change, just as your desires will change. What you want for in your life will change. The things you value will change. Everything does because you're starting to remove all the negative aspects of this and you're always looking for the good. So if you get rid of remove the negatives, right? If let's say you're 100% negatives and positives, just a blend in there, right? You keep getting rid of the negatives, something's got to go back in its place. If you're not letting negatives back in, only positives start to come back in. And at some point, you can get so much happiness, positive going through you, you will literally seem like you are drunk on happiness. It's crazy, but it is so true because you have so much influx of positive energy coming into you and working through you and what you manifest with it. People always wonder about manifestation, but you know what? We got all this gunk inside, and what do you expect to get? So as you remove this, your requests, your thoughts become clearer. They become, you know, clean of the things that are inside you that are getting attached to the request, and it's actually heard the way you wanted it to, and it's allowed to come back to you in the way that it needs to. You never have to worry about it.
That makes good sense. Cleaning out the gunk
Well, I mean, I can tell you right now, it's this way for me every day.
every
If
day.
I need something every single day, if there was a true want or need or desire of mine, it is always fulfilled, always on time with perfection. And
With
it doesn't matter what it
precision.
is, because why worry about how it gets to you? All you wanting is the end result. So don't worry about how it gets to you. There's no reason to. If you just let God, the universe, source, guide, wherever you want to connect to, just allow it to do its job. It will know the perfect way and the perfect timing to get you whatever you need without any harm or danger to anybody, but come to you within complete, precise perfection every single time. And sometimes it gets to a point that it's just a happy thought that you have. Like one time I was gonna order pizza online, right? And it was like Little Caesars or something just for fun. I go, I haven't had this in a long time. I go, oh hey, it's got crazy bread. That's cool. I haven't had this in a long time. But it was like two pizzas, you know, two crazy breads and all that stuff. And I was like, I'm not gonna eat that. So I ordered just this one big double pepperoni pizza. All right, cool. No big deal. Guy comes to the door and he opens up the bag and he hands me two pizzas, two crazy breads. And I'm looking at it, he goes, that's your order, isn't it? I look at him and I go, sure is. So I still have the receipt. I took pictures of the pizzas and everything else. I got what I asked for because I just thought, gosh, you know, that would be nice to have. Really haven't had it in a long time, but that would be nice to have. Sure got what I wanted. Sure got what I asked for because the receipt does show you know, the double large extra, you know, pepperoni on it. That's it. But I actually got what I desired. No harm, no foul, but it was there on time, delivered perfection, piping hot. Way to go, God. Thank you so much.
Just like you'd ordered. How
Yeah,
did that feel?
it feels really good. You just smile afterwards and you acknowledge, you say thank you. It's really, truly thank you.
Giving
And the
gratitude.
more, that's right. It is all about gratitude, right? Because when it comes to the stuff, it's with unconditional love. It's with uh, that pure honesty, that connection, that intimate connection between oneself and the creator, right? There is pure acknowledgement of gratitude, right? Because you know what? Everybody says they need love. Well, guess what? So does God. So does God. So does Universe and Source. Also needs love and appreciates it when it's returned to.
That sounds like a love exchange, and that must feel amazing.
Oh,
And
it is.
was there a reason that you saved that receipt?
Well, I say it because I document things. So I journal, I document, I write for a few different reasons. One is so that I keep a record of things. Two is so that as things come to me or I write about them, that may be months in advance, a year in advance, whatever it is, I will write down these things so that when it comes back to play, when it comes back to happen, I go, no, see back here, this is when I wrote about this, and this is exactly what it was.
And you remember.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like a
yeah,
reminder that you can keep with you. You can reference, and you can, even in your toughest times when you're feeling like wow, I don't know if I'm going to get through this, you can look back and say, see, God took care of me. Look what happened.
Yeah.
Look what I
You,
expected,
and
and it worked.
yeah, and as crazy as this world gets, that you start getting into the way that I do, I'll tell you what, it can be downright crazy because it goes against everything this world functions is, right? You don't understand it. How can you do it? I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. All I did was just say this would be nice if I could have that, and it happened,
And I
you
think
know?
what you also, I think you just touched on something really important because I learned a long time ago when I was trying to, people talk about manifesting and all this other stuff, and they're like, oh, it doesn't work. It's almost like when you take the need out, you mentioned the pizza, you wanted it. It would have been nice to have, but not a necessity. You already knew you were getting the pizza. You ordered your pizza. You knew it was coming. There was no question about that. It was just your specific order was sort of adjusted in a miraculous way that you you had everything to do with it, but you didn't request it. You made a request from your heart to the universe. You didn't request it so much to the pizza place, that particular order. It just came from you. And because you didn't have a need attached and you weren't operating from a place of lack because you knew you were getting pizza, but the lack and the need was removed, it makes it
Yeah,
almost easier for, at least in my opinion, for it's almost like the universe hears us better when we remove the need. Does that make any sense?
yeah.
Some
It's like
part.
playing. It's like playing like little kids. You watch little kids on a playground, they just run around with their imagination and have fun. Well, we're just big kids. That's all we are. We're just big kids in big bodies. So when you play, it's a spirit of joy, it's a spirit of happiness. And it's not like anything greedy or anything like that. Gosh, that would just be nice. I'd really like to have that would be neat, you know, and things just happen. I don't know how else to put it. I mean, you become childlike again. There's no greed, there's no malicious or negative intent or motivation to it. It's just being nice. It's
Plain
like people
nice.
say, "Oh, you're lucky. Oh, you're so lucky, this or that." And I tell them, "No, there's no such thing as luck because there isn't. There's no such thing as luck. You
There's no
make your
such thing
world
as
out to
that.
be whatever it's going to be."
That's right. You can make your life or your world anything that you want.
Yeah. And think about this though too. There's a lot of ways that people use mantras and you know what are those manifestation or affirmations and all those things. There's a lot of ways you can do those things. Sometimes I use them as my passwords. So like I'm typing in my computer, I got to log into some. There it is, right then and there. I just type it over and over and over again, and I say it in my head, and I'm doing it all the time. So it's just something I just naturally do. It's just part of an everyday habit. Um, but it really does come down to just being grateful and not worrying about anything. You just know it's going to happen. It just is, right? It's already there. Just hey, can I have this? Sure, okay. But I don't, my desires aren't like, oh, I got to have a big house. Oh, I got to have this car or that. I got to have, all these other things. I have plenty of stuff. And most of it doesn't really have that much value to me. But, you know, it's like I don't need that much. I really don't. There's nothing that the world can really provide for me. You know, if you don't, if every want, desire, every true want, need, and desired that you have is fulfilled, then what more do you need? What are you lacking? So we have to be careful about those things. We have to be careful how we talk about ourselves, right? Because if we say, "Oh, I'm always broke," or "I always have money problems," or this or that, no matter what, that's what you're asking for. That's what you're saying. That's what you're telling.
You're
Oh,
speaking
yeah,
it
this
into
will never work.
being.
You put the order out there, not me. But yeah, that's it. It must be a great job, but it probably won't last. Yeah, no wonder you're gone after a week. God, how come I always get the same kind of boss? They're always so rude to me, this and that. Well, I guess so. That's the kind of boss you want to have. Things never work out for me. Really? No kidding. Yeah, nothing ever does. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that one. You sure sentenced yourself to a good one. So it's always very, very important. The mind, the universe does not care. You're just going to do what you asked it to do. You always have to be careful about this stuff. And that comes down to the negativity stuff too, right? Those are all negative based things, negative based thoughts, emotions, energies. As within, so without. The outside must reflect the inside. Has to. So we know we are, the only way to put it is that we are our own biggest source of problems and issues in our own life. We just are.
We do get in our own way.
Oh yeah, all the time. We really do. But it's easy to change. Yes, it takes work. Who's kidding who? It takes work. But the reward from the work is far greater than the effort that you have to put into it. It truly is. I don't have money problems. I don't have money stresses. My life is, pretty cool. I don't have a lot of problems ever come into play. And if something comes up, it's usually I'm like, okay, what am I going through here? Why am I feeling this way? And I start to backtrack it and come back to, oh, okay, you're pointing me back to this thing that's still coming up that I need to work on. Thanks. Got it. Got it. Thanks. Great. Have a nice day. But because I do, then I go back through it and I look at it. Okay, yeah, that probably still hurts. Okay, I got it. Let's start working on it again. We're always learning. Learning never stops, right? If anybody ever says they know it all, they don't know Jack. Because unless you know, an infinite way of infinity is, then you'll never ever know it all. It's not possible, and we're not meant to be. We're not meant to know it all. There's no reason to, right? It's just what we need to know at any given point in time. So just have fun with it. And people say I can't manifest, and I'll say you're wrong. You do it all the time. Each and every one manifests nonstop. They just don't see it that way.
We all manifest nonstop. We are all creating, constantly creating from the heart and from our thoughts. So
Yep.
we are out of time, but thank you so much, Dr. Feelgood, for being here. I know that our viewers love you and are excited that you are here with us tonight. We will have him back for a very special visit again. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, just to let you guys know. We're going to sign off for tonight, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for this candid conversation. Bye.
Alrighty. You take care, Elena.
You
All
too.
right. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for being here.
You betcha anytime.
Bye.